In Nigeria, 78% decline in savings from oil sales created to stabilize the Nigerian economy in case of a shock may be the latest crack in the country's line of defense and rising global uncertainties. This comes as the CBN governor recently warned for the need for buffers to cope with shocks arising from a potential oil price crash. The excess crude account declined by nearly $255 million to a record low of $70 million between January and February. The excess crude account is the proceeds from oil sales in excess of the budgeted benchmark price kept aside to supply funds for the country whenever the oil price downturn leads to a shortfall in government. Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu comments on this development. Sir, you're welcome. Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Morning.
So with the this decline that we've seen, $255 million odd dollars, bringing us to a new low, is this much ado about nothing, or should we be concerned? Because this has been, the excess crude account, we've been talking about this for a while. Where do you stand?
You know, this, the ECA was set up in 2004, you know, basically to assist us manage the downturns in the oil sector.
Yes.
Basically, saving for the rainy day. You know, when the oil price is robust, you know, instead of consuming or spending all the money, we put some aside for the rainy day to cover for shocks down the line in the oil prices.
Yes.
As I always say in this program, if the oil prices, you know, sneeze we catch cold.
Yes.
So basically, this was basically to, you know, save for the rainy day, you know, when oil prices are very robust. Basically, don't consume all that you earn and save some, which is basically what is a life lesson or a life advice to every individual and corporation. So for Nigeria, between 2005 and 2009, you know, the balance moved from about to about 5 billion to about up to 20 billion. And today, it's less than 1% of that amount. This, you know, nonchalant way or attitude towards saving, you know, is going to be expensive for us. And the IMF or the World Bank have actually, in looking at sovereign funds like ours, have classified ours as the second least governed fund in the world. You know, so there's been not sufficient accountability in the way the funds have been managed. There have been loose laws as to deposits and withdrawals, and what the funds could be used for.
Yes.
And indeed, the World Bank has also said that for Nigeria, if there's any moderate reduction in the price of oil, we are very susceptible to going back to recession again. Because the last line of defense, as you said, our buffer is non-existent, it's gone now. And I hasten to wonder what is in the mind of government people when this kind of thing is, when they're consuming these funds.
Yes.
And you do recall also that at the initial time when the fund was set up, there was no constitutional backing for it.
Right.
And so there was a court case then by some group of governors that made the federal government to share, you know, what was there, you know, to the states. So, but what do you see? You know, what do you see? You still see, despite several years and billions of dollars of oil that passed through the land, what have you seen? Dilapidated infrastructure, left and right, unemployment, left and right. Go to hospitals, you know, things are just upside down.
Yes.
Roads are not passable. So you watch and ask, you know, what's happened to us? What's happened to us? And so the core oil earnings we've consumed with nothing to show for it.
And
then the savings account was consumed. You know, but not surprising. If you go around the land, you hear the kind of things we hear these days. Governors appointing special assistants for, you know, road works or, you know, funny things. Some people are appointing 100 advisors, you know, and you find that a lot of governors who ask for the money to be shared use it in not frontiers ends of the economy, but all in consumption. And still, a lot of state governments are still owing
on top of that,
owing staff salaries and pension funds. So for us, it's you know, as I said, it's a tragedy. It's a bad news for us that the last line of defense for us is gone, wiped.
Wiped
and
out.
so the reduction in recession in the price of oil the country may go into recession.
Okay, so just to, let's say one wants to come to the defense of government and now start listing all the fiscal problems that we have, and revenue issues that we have. If someone say, okay, look, you know what, Chika, try and understand. Nigeria has, the states are owing money, the oil revenues are down. We couldn't help it. We had to dip into the account, considering the circumstances of how things are in the country.
See, Rotus, the problem is this, that when we're behaving as, a rich country, when we're actually poor, but when we look at our per capita income, it's one of the lowest in the country, in the world. So when you're doing, the income statement is revenue minus expenses to arrive at your profit. Now, if you're not making enough revenues, what do you do to your expenses? You moderate them.
You have to reduce
them. But we are living our lives as if we are rich.
Right.
And so that's what I mentioned some minutes ago. So at the different tiers of government, the 3 tiers of government, whether the federal or the state or the local government, people are spending money. This is a spending spree as if the money will not finish. That is the problem. Even that's tied out to the fact of why there's a fear when we talk about borrowing, because the kind of lifestyle the 3 tiers of government are living.
Right.
What are you doing with the money? So the ECA, we've been burning it down to $70 million now. What have they been doing with it? If you go around the states, a lot of the states are still owing salary. A lot of the states are still struggling to pay the minimum wage. So what's happening?
Yes.
You hear these days, it's post-mortem that you hear the amount of money a lot of governments were spending on the so-called security vote and other outlandish programs that do not add value to the country and economy.
Yes.
So for me, that's the point.
The main thing.
Our revenue is not growing. So what do you do to the other side? You reduce your expenditure or be diligent in spending the little revenues that you have.
Okay, so this next one this is a difficult question. Now, this is regards to reducing expenses. Former head of Central Bank Governor Sanusi, when I think he was addressing government, talked about, he said they should cut the civil service in half, right? If we did that, we would reduce our expenses. But there's the issue of unemployment. If you want to reduce government overhead costs and want to cut down civil service or cut down levels of government, you will add to unemployment. So how do you, and this, I don't expect you to answer this, but I mean, this is a tough situation that we're in if we're looking at cutting expenses.
But the point also is this, that the government system needs to check itself.
Right.
Indeed, what the governor, if he said that, a lot of people have been saying that, even the World Bank has been talking about that for a long time. Even from the time we started talking about IMF loans to all the World Bank reports every time, they talk about the civil service, rationalization of the civil service. There are a lot of things that, the digital power can do, a lot of people are doing manually.
Right.
Indeed, I know that so many hardworking people in civil service. At the same time, if you walked through some government secretariats, whether federal, state levels, you will find some emptiness. A lot of people are not working.
Then the whole ghost workers thing.
Yeah, remember ghost workers thing also.
Yeah.
So, yes, it creates unemployment, but the other high points of the economy where these people can actually work. And that's why governments have been diversifying into agriculture. The CBN has been investing a lot of money. CBN also told the state governors, that the 3 types of government, and that when you go for the FAC allocation, don't share all. Don't share all. Keep some for the rainy day. Because everybody's just when you want to go there, the Canadians are just, this, and when they go back, it's the same lifestyle. Nothing. I do think that we should have laws in Nigeria that forces the state and local government level to start saving. Start through something.
Yes.
And that's about all the House of Assembly that says, for everything that comes, every money that comes into your state every year, every month, put aside this amount. You see, the sad thing for us is that this Excess Crude Account or sovereign wealth fund, other countries that are doing the same thing that we're doing, like Iran, even
Norway,
Libya, you're talking about Libya, Kuwait, Qatar, Norway, they all have funds 20 times, 40 times.
Norway's one is 1 trillion.
Norway's about 1 trillion.
Yeah, and they only have 5 million people.
Even the UAE is. I'm not even going to those levels.
Yeah.
I'm not even Libya with all their wars.
Exactly.
Qatar, Iran. They are sober enough to know that they need to save for the rainy day. But here we are behaving as if nothing will change.
Okay. Okay, let me ask you this. Does Nigeria have an issue with its savings culture? Because even if you take it down to individuals, you talk about banks a lot and the financial sector and savings. Do you think that's just a reflection of who we are as a society, that we struggle to save, even down to the individual?
It has nothing to do with society.
No? Okay.
In 2004, when this program came up, nobody told the head of state, the government in power then, to go and do that.
Right.
It was the desire. Any government must understand that we need to save for the rainy day. Indeed, the international community, they're shaking their head on the nonchalant attitude the governments have towards saving. Because any shock now,
we're in trouble.
We're going to recession. We don't have any fallback. This is the fiscal buffer that we have, and it's disappeared. So when it started in 2004, I think head of that was the Lieutenant General Chika Mbonu. Nobody woke him up and told him to do it. So because he realized that it's very important for the country to do. That's why it was done.
Okay, very quick. I think we have like 30 seconds now. Can we start building from where we are? Revenues are down. We've been borrowing. How do you start saving when you don't have much money?
You can start saving.
You can start?
Yes, by cutting your code according to
your size.
And reduce the profligacy that we'll see, especially at the governors and the local government levels are doing. Projects that are not value adding to the economy. Some of them are building airports when they have one flight in 1 week. Those kind of white elephant projects.
Chika Mbonu there with personal finance advice for the federal government of Nigeria. Thank you so much for your insights, sir. We appreciate you.